take it all off.
Ooh. It looks like Mickey Mouse left us a few presents. Lovely.
So our new sills have just been sat here for about a month curing. We haven't touched them once. Tell a lie. We did actually give one of them a little nudge a couple of days after we'd poured them because we just wanted to make sure that it was possible to get it off the OSB base. And it was. So hopefully we can get the other 3 off now.
There you go, it's free.
4 for 4, moved, no breakages.
Phew!
So when these sills were poured, I actually used a wet sponge fairly extensively, to be honest, to try and finish it, bring out the aggregate, but also to smooth out all the imperfections. But in doing it maybe a bit too much, it's actually made them quite rough and a bit rougher than we would ideally like for an interior surface. How would you describe the roughness?
A little abrasive on the buttocks. This will be a window seat, so it can't be this chafing.
Need a stronger grip.
I think perhaps, yeah. Oh, it's so steamy in this mask.
Better?
Yeah, much better. That's the way to go. Also, the water's doing a good job and it's not creating any dust at all, so I think I can liberate my face a bit. Oh.
It's a hot one today.
Sure is.
Well, summer has really arrived today. It's just gone 10 a.m. and it is 31 degrees centigrade already. Yeah, so it's going to be getting to about 35, 36 at the peak today. So yeah, we're really going to have to adjust our work schedule like we did last summer. We're going to have to start getting up early, starting work about 6 or 7, and then finishing kind of lunchtime. Unless we can do something that's indoors and we can stay out of it, and we'll obviously work a bit longer. One bad thing when the temperature starts to get this warm is that the dogs actually have to spend most of their day inside because it's just far too hot for them. And unfortunately, Ted, he loves to sunbathe and he kind of doesn't realize how hot it is until he's laid there for like 10 minutes and he just completely overheats. So yeah, we have to keep them indoors with fans on them. But obviously it means we have to go and check up on them a lot more. So I'm heading back to do that now. As I'm just walking past, I just need to give a bit of an honourable mention here to Victoria and the new veg garden because everything is going really well. The other day we had chips from our own potatoes as well as a potato salad. We've been eating our own lettuce leaves every single day. We could actually do with planting some more of them because we're eating it at such a rate that we're having to hold off for the time being just to let some new leaves grow through. As you can see here, courgettes coming through. To be honest, I think it's a bit of a miracle that you can even grow any courgettes because Victoria was telling me that on a courgette you have both a male and a female flower that obviously need to pollinate, and both flowers only open for 1 day. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that in that little window that pollination can happen and we get courgettes. Nature is just so impressive. Moving the veg garden to over here was one of the best decisions that we've made on this farm. For you, my lady.
Thank you. It's hot, but I still want a hot coffee.
Looking good. Oh, that one. There's a bit of a border around there, isn't there? So we need to take that middle down a bit more.
Definitely. Can I show you something?
Yes.
Our sanding pad graveyard.
Oh dear.
Absolutely ragged through all of those, but did buy extras, thankfully.
It's hardly surprising because we are only using like wood and metal, sandpaper.
Discs?
Yeah, I can't think of the word.
Pads.
So yeah, the concrete is gonna blast through them, but doing the job. It was also the only option, so thankfully it's working. I had to take over from Victoria to finish off this sanding because she was really nervous about doing the edges and messing up that beveled edge that I worked so hard for when we were pouring the concrete. One thing that's a bit disappointing is that, as you can see with this one, where I was using the edging tool when we poured it, it's kind of left this board around, and I've tried so hard to get it out, but you can see how much flatter that one is. It just won't come out with the sandpaper we've got. So we're just gonna fit them anyway, and then I think I'll order some proper concrete, like sanding discs online. Then once it's all in situ and everything's cured, then hopefully we can go back over it then and get it perfect, because this is gonna be on the inside on this big one, so we want it to look nice and purdy.
A bit warm after that down.
This will be a good indication of that. Can you see how disgusting that is?
Oh yeah, ultra high definition.
Literally a swimming pool in my ears. So I've just been having to widen these window openings because when we were planning on pouring the windowsills in situ, the opening didn't need to be as wide all the way through, but then because we actually poured them in a form away from the windows, now we've got rectangular slabs that we need to get in underneath, so the opening now needs to be the full width plus some wiggle room of the slabs.
Windowsills have actually turned out to be super heavy, so we're anticipating that they might be a little bit tricky to install. So we want to actually make sure that the window openings are definitely big enough before hoofing those into the space. So as a precaution, we've chopped down some leftover insulation foam just to make sure that we're not going to hit any problems further down the line. That looks like it's deep enough.
No problem. This is 10 mil wider than
Oh wow,
yeah.
Okay.
Happy days. That's the other one?
Yeah. Are we going to be 2 for 2?
Oh, it's tight. I'm gonna have to make this wider. There we go. Happy days.
And that's all the way through again, isn't it?
All the way through, baby. Well, I think that's us done on here for today because I think it's just a bit too hot to be doing mortaring and trying to get the sills in.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you've lost about 2 litres in sweat just through your ears.
Yeah, we worked really hard all through the blistering heat last summer. This year, we need to be a bit more cautious, take care of ourselves a bit more, so we don't need to push it today. We're ready, we're prepped, and we'll come and put the sills in tomorrow.
It's a bit hit and miss if I can actually find gluten-free bread here, and I've got celiac disease, so if I'm gonna have bread, it's got to be gluten-free. I've never made bread before, so this will be my very first loaf, but when I saw the bread flour in the shop the other day, I had to buy it and at least give it a go. I absolutely love baking, but I do tend to go for the more sweet variety. However, I'm quite excited to expand into bread. If anyone else has ever baked with gluten-free flour though, you're probably familiar familiar with how unpredictable and temperamental gluten-free flour can be. So I'm tempering my expectations, but I am keeping my fingers crossed for this loaf. So I'm going to let it proof for about an hour or an hour and a half, and it's so warm today that I feel like it should rise quite well just being outside.
It's like being in a tent underneath this shade sail, and a very, very bad tent. Look at this. This thing is sagging so much now that I have to literally duck about a foot to even walk underneath it. In all fairness to this shade sail, we put this up 2 years ago. It's only really meant to be out when the weather's fair, and this is out 365 days a year, getting battered by windstorms, loads of rain, intense sun. So yeah, it's not done too badly, but I think we need to replace it. Put something a bit more structural, a bit more solid, robust in. So I think we'll plan and try and do that in some point over next month. Get some lovely shade for the summer.
It's like a wall of heat. It's completely off the scale. It only goes up to 50 degrees.
Literally bouncing so fast. Go on, get out of there.
Oh, that is some ripe manure.
Just the smell you want on a 35-degree day.
It really, really sets the tone. I bet you're glad I did this after making bread, don't you?
Yeah, don't really fancy a manure loaf. So, turns out Victoria's ahead of the game. She's actually already got a load more lettuce plugs to put in. So, yeah, you want to put these ones up by the house.
Yeah, I want to put them up around the house because I think some of the ones down by the garden are going to potentially get torched, and we eat a lot of lettuce, so we need a backup plan.
Let's go. Tell me what to do.
Well, you can fit 4 in a tub.
Okay, so how deep of a hole do I need to make? Like,
Oh,
some instructions.
So, this is a lettuce plug. You need to make sure it's buried to there. You never get to do little activities like this.
Okay.
Yeah, if you firmed it in, it'll get a bit firmer when it's watered as well.
What?
I feel like I'm doing an activities workshop with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, such a runny nose.
Put them in the shade and we'll give them a water. Don't want to saturate the table.
Where are they going?
In the shade, we'll put them there. Still get a little bit of sun in the morning, but not get torched all day.
All done. Okay. Ready? after shuffling around the bigger sills on the OSB bases yesterday, we were speaking about how heavy they are and thinking about how we're going to lift them and get them into the window. Because we need to slide them kind of into position, just trying to lift them and slide them across mortar is probably going to be really difficult. We're going to be struggling a bit. We don't want to be having to manhandle this into place. So we've taken a bit of an unorthodox approach, and we've effectively put a couple of battens in, fixed them to the wall underneath, got them level in every which direction. So in theory, they should just act as kind of runners for us to slide the sill across on. So the time to install our lovely new sills is upon us. I've just mixed up a pretty stiff mix of lime mortar. I don't want it sloppy and kind of oozing out all over the place when we're putting these heavy sills in. We're definitely a little bit nervous because we never actually put any reinforcement of any kind into these sills, and we're both a bit frightened that if we pick them up and manhandle them for a bit too long, there's a chance of them breaking. So what we're going to do is set out some horses, carry the sills on the base of the form, put them on the horses, and then slide it in. It sounds straightforward. Let's see if it is in practice. Mega dry.
Nothing dramatic happened. That was sort of an anticlimax, I thought. It looks good.
Oosh!
I take it it's level then.
Yeah.
Bright. Even in sunglasses.
Yeah. That just seemed too easy.
The horses were a good idea. No. Giddy up.
So now I just need to try and kind of pack that mortar underneath as much as possible. There's still areas around the sills on both the inside and the outside where I need to put stonework in to finish it all off, but I'm going to let this all go off and do that stonework another day. So I'm going to pack this one out and then we'll get the others in.
Feels heavier than the last one. We should have known it couldn't have all gone that easily. On one of the sides there's a real pinch point, so we're going to have to take off a little bit of that stone and then have another go. You good? Oh
yeah. Get this out. I can't think think of any other way to like nudge it as one.
I know you like the sills, but geez.
What do you reckon?
Not too shabby. It's popping, isn't it, with the render as well?
Popping, popping. Standing here looking at this now, it's got me reflecting and thinking back to when we first bought this place and just how sad and neglected this looked. But standing here looking at the new sills with the render, the roof, it just is such a fresh look for it. It's starting to look happy and loved again. We do still need to seal these sills, and the plan was to do it now once they were all fitted in. So we were going to use this to seal it, both inside and out. But because of that one pesky sill that's got the markings around the edge that we still need to grind, sealing will have to wait for another day. That looks dense.
It felt heavier than when it went into the oven.
I bet if you pick that up and drop it down, it makes a right thud.
It's got structural integrity.
Brick.
I think it actually overproofed because it was outside and it was really warm yesterday, so that's what I'm blaming it on. I've got some olive oil to wash it down anyway.
Out of 5?
What do you want me to rate it on? Dryness? 5.
Let's try a bit then. Oh.
I think this is going to be turned into croutons, but next time I'm going to proof it inside where it is a little bit cooler, I think.
I'm still struggling to swallow it.
You don't have to eat it, you don't need gluten-free. Kisses.
So as well as making some bread, Victoria's made some lovely liver cake.
Yeah.
With, oh, what's inside of it?
Oh, so we've got a base of peanut butter, Greek yogurt and chicken. Arguably, this is more appetising than the bread.
And just to be clear, they're for the dogs because today is Poppy's 3rd birthday, believe it or not. Time is flying by.
Happy birthday, Poppy. Okay.